Hello, this is Eric Tinkler here. Just a little bit of a cold opening before we get into the main body of the podcast and everything. Just wanted to give a huge shout out and thanks to everyone who helped coordinate Future Music Educators Day yesterday. I know it's a huge task. Dr. Payne and the rest of the music education staff here at K-State did an absolutely phenomenal job in making a really fun and welcoming environment to the high school students who came and showing a little bit about what music education's about here at Kansas State. I'm super grateful for all of them, all the student workers who helped out throughout the entirety of the day. McCain is not the most user-friendly building, just helping everyone make sure they know where they're going and just answering any questions they had, and whether it was in regards to music education, life, college, or K-State or whatever. It was a really unique experience for those high schoolers to go through. And finally, just a big shout out to all who participated on the student Q&A panel, which you're about to hear in a short sec. It was a really fun experience to be able to do a live podcast. I'm super thankful for it. The audio cut out a couple of introductions from some of our panelists. I missed out on Jacob Sweat as well as Carrie Goodson. They're both music ed majors here at K-State, getting ready to student teach this next semester. Once again, I'm just thankful for all the support in the podcast and everything. All my listeners, I'm just beyond amazed as this continues to grow. And I hope that this is something that Dr. Payne and I will just keep doing, keep loving, and continue to have a really good time. Thank you all, and let's get into the pod.
Hello, this is Eric Tinkler here with Not Your Forte Music Ed Podcast, and we're happy to announce our first live episode. Dr. Payne, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How is everyone doing today for Future Music Ed Day?
And we didn't even have to fake the laugh track or the applause track and all that good stuff. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, we got real people here for once.
That's exactly. It's not like the cast of Friends that have to use those laugh tracks.
We are real funny.
I feel attacked.
That's right. We're
legitimate, real funny.
Yeah, we're funnier than David Schwimmer.
Better.
All right, we're going to go through. We're going to introduce everyone. Go ahead. Well, I guess since I have the mic first. I'm Eric Tinkler. I'm a fourth-year music education student here at Kansas State University. I play French horn. I play tuba in the marching band, do a few other things, and I'm just really excited to be here today to answer some questions and have a good time. So I can cut up here.
I'll take it down to the end, and then we'll start and work our way across. Mr. Kelly.
My name is Alec Kelly. I'm a senior here in music education, getting ready to student teach next semester. And I'm vocal music ed, so.
Yeah, get out of here.
Hi there, my name is Donald Gaspar. I'm a third-year music ed major here at K-State, and I'm nothing but trumpet. Like, that's literally all I do. Marching band, gear, everything, but that's it.
I'm Rachel Wright. I'm a fifth-year senior here for vocal music ed, as well as at Manhattan Christian College for Bible and leadership. So I have a really great perspective on things, but...
I'm Brian Hernandez. I'm a third-year music ed major. I'm a vocalist, and I'm also our president of our NAFME chapter.
My name is Madison Halbert. I'm a fifth-year super senior here at K-State for music education.
Hi everybody, I'm Ryan Nelson. I play clarinet, mellophone, tuba, and to be determined.
I'm Hannah. I'm a first-year music ed major here at Kansas State University. And did I say what I play? No, I play alto saxophone, and I guess you could say I play soprano as well, and a quartet, if you wanted to. Yeah. Oh, and I also play Barian jazz band. Chris just reminded me, so thanks, Chris.
As Hannah mentioned, I am Chris, although I am the oddest one out of here because I'm not a music ed major. I just do a lot of music here, so if you have any questions about how to balance everything in your life ever, I can maybe help with that. I'm a microbiology major, by the way.
Nice.
What's your major?
Microbiology.
Microbiology. Wait, what's your major? Listening skills. You'll work on those in music ed. Oral skills. Oral skills. Oral skills. Dictation.
All right, who's got a question? Well, not you. We're answering their questions. Who's got a question? We got a mic too. You can do this.
Somebody's got to open
Can I
it
speak into
up.
the mic like this?
Hi, Timmy.
Somebody.
Are you joining us? Do it. Pull up a chair. Introduce
Well,
yourself.
Eric, start us off.
Starting off, we can be scared to know what kind of questions to ask.
He's introducing himself. He's a part of our panel now.
I guess. So my name is Timmy. I come from Summer Academy, Kansas City, Kansas. I'm a first-year band kid. So,
There you go. Now you get it.
what instrument do I play? Yeah. That depends on the ensemble.
Just say clarinet.
Yeah, I guess clarinet and marching.
There you go.
All right, I know you guys have had a really long day. I've been floating among some of you guys' session. One, we're super glad to have you here at Kansas State University. Are you guys having a fun time here?
Yeah.
You guys seem a little tired. Yeah. A long day. What's the furthest anyone drove to get here?
No, don't.
How far?
Like an hour and 50 minutes.
Hour and 50 minutes? Anyone longer than an hour 50? 2:15. Anyone more than 2:15?
Can I get 3.5?
3.5.
Yeah! Where are you from? Yeah, where are you from?
Dodge City.
Dodge City?
Dodge City.
That's Jacob Miller, right?
Yep.
How exciting. Alright, so like I said, it's been a really long day today, and there's been a lot thrown at you, and your brains are probably a little like, oh my goodness, there's so much going on here. But music education here at Kansas State is super fun, and like Dr. Payne talked to, all these people right up here are phenomenal people. They're getting ready to be teachers, some of them within the next semester, some of them in a few years. And we're just here, we're going to try to help answer questions. I know this is always something that's really fun for me to do every year, and I just know there's no stupid questions.
Hey, how do you balance like college life with just being a music major?
Starting it.
Hello. So, this is how I balance college life and music and whatnot. So, you get really, really, really good at time management. You usually will get a planner if you're like me, because if it's not written down and has a box next to it so that I can check it off, I will either forget it or not feel like I've been productive enough in the day. So I get my day laid out. I know that this assignment's due this day, and I have this amount of time to finish it. And then I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna go have dinner with my sister down the street, tomorrow night. So I can't do it then. So I should probably do it now. And then you just, I don't know, you get good at time management, and you learn how to balance your homework stuff with your fun stuff. And granted, there's gonna be like a weekend or something, and you're just gonna get nothing done, and that's totally cool because you need me time. And then I don't know, that's how I do it.
So one thing I wanted to add to that, it's exactly right. You want to have a planner for everything. It's pretty much like almost key to have your daily life planned out before you go ahead of it. So that way, let's say one of your teachers cancels a class, boom, you've got some free time right there. Now you can throw anything you want into there. For me, when it comes to planning, I look at what classes I have in that day and try to hit every spot where like, okay, I don't have this in between. I've got like an hour break. Let's see if I can, do I have any homework? Do I have time to practice my trumpet? Stuff like that. And then towards the end of the day when I'm done, if I look back and say, hey, I finished all my tasks, there's some free me time, which in my opinion could be really important. It gets really bogged down whenever you just focus too hard on school. So if you find some time to, give yourself stuff that you need, like some enjoyment, maybe a game, movie, stuff like that, really helps.
Candles.
Plants. Don't get her
Plants.
I'm kind of going a little further on the idea of balance. I'm sure all of your teachers and your parents can attest that balance is never going to be a perfect scale. It's always going to be a little bit of, you need to know where to put a little bit more weight or effort into. It's talking about priorities a little bit. Say you have a couple classes in the day, and there's one class you're doing really well in and stuff. You have an upcoming test, but you just know that you're going to nail it. But you have another one, and you're like, oh, I don't really feel as confident about it. So when you're studying that night, because I know we're going to study every night after we get done practicing, that's what we should tell you. You're going to need to make sure to use your time wisely and be like, okay, so I'm going to spend it on the class I'm struggling a little bit with so I can better succeed. And it's like, oh, hey, I'm getting bogged down with like my health or my mental state right now just because music ed can be very much a go, go, go kind of thing. You need to put that effort or that more balance into taking care of yourself. Because that's a huge thing for all of us college students up here, is you need to make sure that you take care of yourself. Be a little bit selfish at times. Fill your cup so that way you can continue to be successful in the classroom and be successful as a teacher in the future.
One final thing on this subject is, you guys are all seniors, right? Most of you. So you know what it's like to be busy. You know all the activities you've done. And so now that you're choosing music as a major, it goes from being a hobby to being your life. And so it's important that you transition the music to being your life, but also don't lose the hobbies you already have. Don't lose the things that you enjoy. And so as a music major, you may not enjoy listening to music in the car ride home anymore or walking home. So that's one thing that you need to find something that you can, put music on the back burner for a little bit so you don't burn out and you don't lose that passion. So take that me time, fill your cup. So also make sure that you have other things that you can also rely on.
I think we beat that horse pretty good.
Any other questions?
Another horse.
Question?
Another horse.
Do any of you do composition? And is that like a useful skill to acquire?
So when you take music theory here, your final project for every music theory class is a composition of set rules. In Theory 1, it's writing a melody and setting it to text. In Theory 2, it's writing for 4 instruments or 4 voices or a mixture of that. Theory 3, it's about applying forms and special chords that you learn about. And then Theory 4, you throw all that in the garbage can and make something up.
Contemporary is the term.
Yes.
That was my favorite.
But you can practice it however you want. Dr. Weston, our chair of theory and composition, gives theory lessons that are 30 minutes long to people who are not composition majors but want to continue composition. And really, it's just about putting yourself out there and throwing it on the paper. I mean, I've gone through plenty of experiences where I'll just write random things, and I'll say, oh, this is trash, and then get ideas from my peers. Everyone here has to practice it at some point, so you just have to put yourself out there with it.
I think as far as your reference to, is it a useful skill or not? I would say yes. I will be the first to tell you that I'm not good at writing music. I'm a percussion major. Rhythm is my thing. So the theory compositions were always really hard for me. But I eventually found a way to break it down into, you know what, I'm just gonna, this is like a month in advance, but I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna write 4 bars. 4 bars of melody, and then that'll be my composition for right now. And it's interesting that when you break it down, it doesn't seem as scary to compose something like that. But like Ryan said, Dr. Weston is really amazing. He is the god of composition, I should say. He's just amazing at it. And I would say it's a useful skill. I would say it's not a skill that I personally use a lot, but I don't know if anybody else uses it a lot. I know Eric likes to do some composition.
So I would say going past composition, one, if you're interested in composing, K-State offers a lot of resources. Like Dr. Weston, there's a few other teachers who help teach composition. That if that's something you want to do, we will find a way for you to do it, to get better at it, and continue to provide resources for that. In addition just to composing original materials, K-State offers arranging courses, which to me, those are some of the more useful courses in which I've taken, just because I know whenever I'm a band director, whether it's middle school, high school, whatever, my students are going to want to sometimes play some things in which we don't have, or there's going to be some interesting groupings of friends who are let's have 2 bassoons, a trombone, and a piccolo play and whatever, because that's how it runs out. So it's these composing opportunities and arranging opportunities are super just beneficial as a future music educator, and it's not something to be super scary. I know when I first, Theory 1, they're you have to compose. I was like, oh my goodness, they're making me write music. And it can be a scary experience at first, but just know you have some great peers around you. The teachers here at K-State, especially the theory professors. Some of my theory professors are some of the best professors in which I have had here at K-State, and they're very caring, and they take the time to be like, okay, this is how you need to do it, and I'm going to take the steps to help out. Answer your question? Any more questions?
Maybe from this side?
Yeah.
And if you guys don't have any, can I field one out to you guys real
Oh,
quick?
she has a hand.
Oh, we have a
Come on,
hand.
No,
We have a hand.
do it. No, first. He says I'm first. You're what we're here for.
It's too late. We're gonna listen to your question. Too late.
How often do teachers cancel classes?
Not as often as
Not often enough to depend on it.
Yeah.
So let me hit you straight with that real quick. Again, like they were just saying, not as often as you think. When a teacher does cancel class, it's usually because, one, they're sick. Two, I've seen in some cases where a teacher just wasn't feeling it that day for some reason. They're like, maybe 8:30 I need a break too. And the third is just, they're getting sick. It's usually just that. But, they're usually otherwise, as a music major, you'll find events will probably be the one thing that teachers cancel classes for. We've had, just, I think, 2 weeks ago, we had Nats, which canceled literally every class that was happening in Kane.
Yeah.
We'll also be doing concert band clinics next year, next semester, which will possibly cancel some classes as well. And we just did a general recital today, which probably put a few classes on the back burner.
Also, in your lower level classes, you get graded on your attendance. So,
and in your
and most of your upper level classes.
Go to class.
So all of them.
Yes, please go to class.
90% of your classes, you get graded for attendance. It's basically your professors trying to keep you accountable for the fact that you're paying for this, so you might as well use it as a learning opportunity.
So I want to field a question to you guys so that we can get a little bit more information about what's going through your head. So as seniors kind of coming into college, what are the things you're worried about? It doesn't have to be about music ed specifically, it can be though. Well, like what's one thing that's on your mind that you would love to have some clarity about?
Okay, so like if you're not in a music major but you're in a different major, how do you work that out with like the different ensembles or bands you're in?
Hey, that's what he's here for.
Oh my god.
It's my requirement.
It's the perfect question.
Okay, so the biggest thing is to not get too sucked in. In high school, I was a drum major, I did a jazz band, I did the musicals, I did everything that I could in the music field. You cannot do that if you have an actual major, and you try to do all of them.
Let it be known.
He means well. He made a mistake. He knows now.
Yes.
We still love
No.
No. When you have a major that is located across campus, typically, so you kind of have to prioritize what makes you feel the best. It's kind of hard to do a bunch of music classes that stress you out to a level where you can't enjoy them at all. And sometimes they can be like that, especially if you don't have all the time that you can give to just music. Like you have to divide between doing your chem labs or something like that. Does that kind of help at all?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, one last thing to that. Whenever you go into college, you do have an advisor. He will be assigned to you, and so the advisor will work with our advisor, the music ed faculty, and also the music advisor to help with that. So if there's any class conflicts, then they'll help work that out. You're still ultimately responsible for assigning your classes, but it'll help a lot.
Sharon Wooster is the music advisor for anyone who's non-music education, and she is a phenomenal human being that will go beyond whatever ends to make sure that you're doing well with your classes, both within your major and with your music classes. And she even offers, she's got box of tissues and chocolates on her desk is what she says, and she is open to listen to anyone.
She's a queen.
Oh, we stand.
Oh my gosh.
Very queen.
All right, next question.
How long did it take you guys to figure out your major?
Wait.
Yeah.
Okay. How long did it take? You mean when did I decide to be a music major?
Yeah.
were like
we all-
3, don't lie.
I feel like we all go through a phase of time where we have a moment of realization where we're like, we can be band directors? What? Like, I don't know. I had that moment where I was like, hold on. I can be a music major? So I'd say, like, my heart was always in it, and then around sophomore year, I was like, yeah, I think I'll do psychology. And then someone was like, well, like, what do you like about psychology? And I was like, I mean, it's a cool word, and it makes me look cool, I guess. And then they were like, well, what are you doing with psychology? And I was like, nothing. And then they're like, what are you doing in band? I was like, well, I'm in jazz band, I'm in the musical pit, I'm in marching band, I'm the drum major, I do this and that. And then I, came to the realization. So I'd say young, but we live in a world that doesn't really promote the idea that we can do music, and so I think we all have an aha moment, I guess. Does that answer your question?
Well,
Yeah.
So I came in, so I did no choir until my senior year, and I'm a choral major. So naturally, I was like that teenage boy that had like the cracking voice, all that kind of stuff, and then I kind of figured it out, and then, so I did the musical, I did choir, I did all the things that's my senior year, and I'm like, cool, I love music, so let's go to K-State and do business. And go to law school. That makes sense, right? So my first semester, I was going to this intro business class, and I'm like, okay, my major is business, but I hate this class, and I never want to go to it. Something's not quite right. And so I decided that because I was in the musical, I wanted to do like theater education, then I wanted to kind of do political science. So I switched all back and forth. And then finally, my spring semester, I switched into music ed, and that was after countless nights of just not feeling like I was in the right spot. Like, I couldn't see a future anywhere, but like Hannah was talking about, like, when that light switch flipped on and I saw, oh, man, I want to teach kids. I want to be in the classroom. That's what I want to do. That's what turned that on. And so I didn't get to be a music major until my sophomore year in the fall. So I was a full year behind. But the year that I took thinking about that and really figuring out what do I want to do for the rest of my life was the most valuable thing I could have done. Yes, it's a year of money that's kind of behind me, and I don't get a lot of those classes back, but I get the why and the passion to do this thing that I love forever. So if music is or isn't your thing, that's okay. My biggest piece of advice on finding your major is make sure that you take the time to really figure out what makes you want to wake up in the morning, what gets you excited. So take that time.
I guess I can just add on a little bit onto that. For me, I figured it out my senior year of high school, and I was like, well, let's go to K-State. They have a fantastic architect program. And then senior year math happened. And so I was like, well, math isn't really my forte anymore. Let's just try out music. Because I enjoy music. I genuinely enjoy it. And so, because I did like a whole bunch, I did like 2 choirs, bands, and a little bit of debate, for instance, just to make sure I kept that thing going, kept my music love going. And so I was coming to K-State for architecture, and I called into the admissions office. I was like, I don't want to be an architect, fam. I want to be a music education person. They're like, really? But yeah, I think my click happened like probably second semester of senior year when I realized I would be miserable architect, a really miserable architect. But I think music education so far, even though I'm a first year student, is working out for me.
Any other questions? Yeah, let's go. Let's go back.
One over here too, Eric.
Who's
that? Twofer.
The hands are rising.
Okay, so you guys are all music ed majors and you do a lot. You've got a whole bunch along with your degree. How do you actually take care of yourselves?
I got it. Who got that?
That boy down.
Exercise.
Yeah, that's an amazing question.
We're going to talk about that.
We got you there.
Welcome to my self-care TED Talk.
Okay, so this is how I take care of myself. So after the last class I have of the day, Tuesdays that would be like about 7:30 p.m. Normal days it's like 5:30, and that's right after ensembles. I'll go home. I will maybe have a snack if I'm feeling it. And then I will go lay in my bed with this Avengers blanket, and then I'll turn on a Disney movie, and I'll cuddle with my cat, Berlioz. And then I'll just literally lay there for like 30 minutes or like 45 minutes, however long I can afford. and then I'll like start doing if I have homework or like if I need to prep stuff for the next day, then I'll do that. But like my first priority when I get home is like I've left campus, I'm done with music for a while, I'm gonna watch a movie, I'm gonna read a book if that's your thing, I'm gonna jam out to the next Nickelback album, I'm gonna, you know what I mean? Like, you just, yes! You just, I don't know, that's what I do. Who else has self-care tips? Yes.
Alex! See, I told you to come down here!
Okay, so for me, it's not necessarily like a specific thing that I do, because I do a lot of different things. My biggest thing for self-care is you really have to, like Eric was saying, prioritize what you want out of the major, and kind of like what you value. And then I have to set like semester goals for myself. And then so weekly, if there's usually a day or two, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I cannot do this. I'm feeling really down or whatever. And so that means if I don't get my homework done for the next day, I mean, as bad as this advice is, but like if I don't get my homework done the next day, that's fine, because I'm a human before I'm a music ed student. And I mean, if I'm not, a happy human, there's no point in doing anything else, because you're just going to be miserable and awful. You're not going to be successful in anything else. So that means if I don't do my homework that night, it's fine. All of your professors here are going to understand if you just talk with them, you're open to them. It doesn't mean that you can't ever do your homework, but I do it a few days after. But especially this semester, because this is a semester right before student teaching. And like Dr. Payne was saying, it's very, very hard. So just remember, you're human first no matter what, and you need to take care of your emotional self before you do any homework or anything else, because you're not gonna be successful at anything else.
Yeah, tacking off of that, get out of McCain.
Yes.
It's so easy to get stuck in here. There's this place downstairs, it's like the lounge. I won't tell you what Dr. Trace calls it.
The lounge of mediocrity. That's what he calls it.
That's what he calls it. That's what he calls it. But yeah, it's so easy to just get stuck here. Like you stay here, you have like back-to-back classes, but you need to go through. If you have like an hour break, leave. I love this place. Like this is my home, but like I need to get to my actual home. Open up the windows, because I have windows at home, which is nice. And I have candles and a fuzzy blanket and my Disney Plus and my plants and my dog and my cat and my fish. I don't have that here. I need to get out of this building. Like as much as I love everyone here and getting completely submersed in music, I need to get out of here and just like have a break. Take a break from this. Because it's so easy to say, no, this is what I love, so I need to be around it constantly. No, you need to keep loving it, so leave it. Give yourself time to miss it a little bit.
So this is a big thing that not a lot of people like talk about and isn't really well informed, I think, for kids going into college. Number one, you're leaving home, so all the structure that you had is now gone. So you're creating the structure for yourself. So if you want to eat Oreos for every meal of the day, you could. But
it's delicious.
Let me be the first to tell you, your food, your sleep, and your exercise have a huge impact on how you feel. And I'm not saying you gotta be like a crazy power lifter or anything. All I'm saying, I'm like Eric, let's be real. But what I am saying is that every night you need to strive to get 6 to 8 hours of sleep. So if that means you don't get your homework done, that is okay. But don't use that as an excuse to never do it, right? Work hard still. Number two.
At 9.
That's amazing and unheard
So
of.
proud. Can't relate.
Number two, make sure you're eating good food, like green things, broccoli. Make sure you're getting adequate amounts of protein. Like eat chicken, ground turkey, rice. Do whatever you gotta do, but eat good food. It will literally make you feel so much better.
Yes.
And finally, move. Your body is made to move, whether that's a 10-minute walk or whether it's an hour with weights. It is amazing. If you do those 3 things, you will be able to refill your cup and work so much more efficiently and be so much happier and get a lot more things done in this crazy major that we call music ed.
And just one final note on this, just pitching a little bit K-State and what we have here at K-State. K-State has a lot of opportunities around campus for self-care. They provide, Lafine offers free counseling, I think 2 sessions each, 3 sessions each semester. There's a group called Pause that does a lot about mental health awareness things. Sometimes they bring dogs or cats to campus, things like that.
They're a foster group.
And just being in the music building, every single music teacher here has gone through the experience that you will go through as a music educator or a music ed student. And they're very understanding. My studio professor is my therapist. And I think the majority of people here, their studio professors are their therapists. They will listen to you. If you need to cancel a lesson or anything or just talk, they're more than willing to do that and stuff. And it's just a really great environment to be a music major here at Kansas State, and just super fun. So we got another question right here.
Would you advise getting a job early on in your college life?
Do you have to? Like financially? Here's the first question.
Alright. If you need one, yes. So one of the best places to work, I would highly recommend them on campus, especially if you want to do a dining center. They're always hiring. I think their starting pay is like $8.50 an hour, so it's pretty good. And especially if you live in the dorms, which I highly recommend the freshman year, you can walk to work, and it's about a minute to walk. So I highly recommend on campus if you are going to seek a job for your first year, and if you do need a job in college, start your first year, because that's when you will have the most time, because as you work into upper level courses, homework will take more time to complete, and then thus, if you build that schedule now with your work schedule, it'll be much easier to tackle as time goes on.
Additionally, as a music major, and you'll find this out as you get through your applied lessons, you kind of get your wizard brain in the back kind of says, hey, maybe I could teach this. There are plenty of opportunities to teach your applied instrument and tutor for money, which is very, very helpful. That's what I do. And I teach voice for money. It's very nice.
I have a super random job. So I started this job the summer before my freshman year, and I do it every single summer and during the semester. I paint offices and classrooms and stuff, like in the College of Ed. I get paid to just paint, repair things. I do whatever I need to. It's just a ton of fun, and I get paid really well. And I'm the only one. I move furniture. I just do all that stuff. What?
Not anymore. I'm coming for your
Oh,
job.
no, you're not. I'm all they need. But this Thanksgiving break, I'm going over and I'm moving some furniture around, and I'm painting at least 2 offices, I think. And it's just a ton of fun. You'll find weird things that you can do. And it's amazing because this has nothing to do with music. I think that's part of the reason I love it so much, is this is a good break for me. I get to go and just put painter's tape up and spackle things and do all that. I'm this is good. I'm not playing right now. This is a good break.
So one thing I would like to add with having a job, if you get one, please make sure that it is one you like, or at least enjoy, because if you go into work and you absolutely hate it, that will come back to school, and that will come back to you when you go home, because if you're just taxing yourself hard on work at a place that is just killing you, you're not going to enjoy anything for the remainder of that day, or even for the remainder of that week. I have had 2 jobs since I came here, and both of them were absolutely miserable because of the type of situation I was in, and it just made nothing fun. I had the worst time at that work, so it brought me negative at home, and it brought me even worse at school. So I found a job that I enjoy. I do food delivery now, but the only reason I enjoy it is because I drive. It's fun.
So go ahead, Rachel. We'll
add on to that with making sure you enjoy it. Make sure that you're valued as well at that job. A lot of the campus jobs will value you because they know that all of their workers are students and that people have stuff going on. And I work at McCain Auditorium. I do stage crew stuff. So that is helping me, going in as a choir teacher, learn how to work the stage things for musicals and whatnot. But it also is very important. They make sure they give us breaks, and they make sure that they put people on what they are good at. I also used to work a work study desk job at MCC, and I worked there from spring semester freshman year all the way through sophomore year, including the summers. And it got to a point where I was doing way more than what I was being paid for, basically, because it was a work study job, so it was limited in how much they could pay you. So I ended up having to leave that one because of scheduling, but it was also very freeing for me to be able to have something that I knew I had gotten the skills from it, and I could move on.
All right, we got a next question here.
Alright, so we know how college is expensive and life is expensive in general, right? So going into music performance and stuff like that, or any music education degree, how do you use that degree to pay for those things on a daily life basis and get that out of the way and pay family at the same time?
So a music ed degree doesn't tie you to being a high school teacher or an elementary teacher. I mean, I'm getting a music ed degree, but I'm looking at grad school in music therapy, and the average income of a music therapist is around 6 figures a year. You are definitely not limited to the profession that is listed on the piece of paper you get when you leave here.
Another thing too, in terms of like spending hours, so like there's this fallacy that music majors and teachers make less maybe than other teachers. All teachers make the same primarily in the district unless you're teaching less hours. So my wife is a teacher in Shawnee Mission and I live in Lawrence and she teaches in Kansas City. So we were spending a bunch of money on gas and trying to pay off like her loans and that kind of stuff. But the way we budgeted it, we worked it out fine. This is going to sound really adult and like you maybe don't have to do this yet, but like Dave Ramsey provides a lot of like really good budgeting tips. You can figure out, what you need to pay for and then what you can cut out. So just be mindful of the budget, have it planned, and as long as you're not spending without knowing what's going on, you'll be totally fine, my man.
Just going a little bit on with that, for those of you guys who were at the beginning session of the day, or the beginning panel with the people in current music professions, some professors and stuff, you never really know where you're going to end up. Sure, we can come here, want to be music educators, or for those who came to Dr. Trace's session at 1 o'clock, you come here with an idea of what you want to do and everything, but sometimes, life happens and you might wind up wherever you might end up and stuff. Just know that through financial decisions and stuff like that, while it can be stressful, it can be scary, know that one, you have great people around you, current older students, your teachers, your parents, who can help you out with this as long as you're just willing to ask the question and to start the conversation. But yeah. Do we have any more questions? I think we have time for about 1 or 2 more.
I have a question.
In the back. In the back.
In the back, you got a question for
I'm a freshman. No, my son's here, and I know he's kind of talked about it before. How many of you guys are proficient on piano?
According to the university, I am piano proficient, and that's what gets me to graduate. Can I play piano?
Not worth the leap.
I'm not trying.
So piano proficiency, like Eric was saying, is really just a box that gets ticked on your STARS, your degree audit. Now, you have to take 4 classes of piano. So you will have to actually progress through and learn how to put your fingers on the piano, how to play, how to arpeggiate, how to play scales, how to sight read. That will be taught to you. Now, will you use it in the classroom? Maybe, maybe not. That all depends on how you teach and what district you go into.
All right. Well, we're going to actually go ahead and wrap up. If you guys have any more questions, just come up to us afterwards. Any of these people here can answer. If you're wanting to go watch the marching band, Carrie there can help you figure out where you need to go. We're going to be over at Memorial Field here at 3:30. That's super fun. Thank you guys all for just being a part of this. For Not Your Forte Podcast, like Dr. Payne mentioned, just find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We're really anywhere you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to follow us on our social media pages. We have Facebook, Twitter. I think kids use the Instagram now. Don't forget to subscribe, rate 5 stars, all that good stuff. And let's get a round of applause for our great panel.